Hello, this is Adriel Grapes, and this is the CLC assignment presentation for David and Adriel. Our project was a car store. The objectives of our project was to create an application that mimics an online car inventory. We chose to do this from the retail or dealership's perspective. This allowed for easier creation of the project, as the scope was to be able to create individual items or products within the application that we were creating. So from the dealership or retail perspective, it would be similar to a software that they might utilize at their location in order to keep track of how many cars they have on site and the specs on them. Each car had a couple different details that you can put in: the make, model, year, color, and total miles on the vehicle. This allowed for easy categorization, searching, etc. The design of the project, we wanted to mimic a real-life scenario in which an inventory system would be needed. A retail scenario was a great example, as a dealership or a car sales lot would need to keep track of and record how many cars and vehicles they have on their property and what the specs are for easy searching for customers. We implemented security features that would be utilized in a retail setting to ensure secure record keeping. That way, people outside of the dealership would not have access to the information, and thus prevent any kind of issues as far as accessing information that they shouldn't. We wanted to keep it minimalistic and easy to use, as it would be something that in a real-life scenario would be used by employees at a dealership and would need to be trained on, so making it easy to use and very minimal design was important to us. Another feature that was pretty heavily thought of in the design was the ability to edit cars once they've been added to the inventory. This prevents any issues as far as things being incorrect in the inventory, as we all know that humans make errors, so we wanted errors to be correctable. The implementation of this project, we started with the base project and added additional features as we went along. We wanted to make sure that the core of the project was up and running before we delved too far into the additional features. Our base list of features were logging in and out, with the security implemented by the JBoss development studio, as well as adding a database feature. That way we could keep track of all of our inventory across different computers and machines. That way we would not need to transfer files when signing into the application. After the base project was implemented and up and running, we started to implement our REST and security and database features and added those into the mix. The project features that we have are logging in and out with the JBoss security built-in features, the REST functionality, the database to hold car info, and we also have class abstraction for easy updates in future versions by utilizing interfaces. And this really helps us update all of our features within the project. If a new feature is added or we're changing the functionality of something and updating the way that it works. The security features were really important for us to add in as a real-life scenario you can't have an application accessing database information without some kind of security feature. Any kind of application that you access that has personal information or even just business information needs to be secure and behind some kind of username and password or a pass key. So that was a big feature. The REST functionality was pretty easy to implement, and the database was one that was also very important for us. We wanted to make sure that the data was accessible across different machines, which definitely made it easier to work on and implement the project, and gave us the ability to see the data real time in the database as we're both working on and adding different cars into the car store. And it definitely makes for a nicer project all around rather than storing data in files.
Hi, this is going to be our project demonstration for our car store project in our CLC for the class CST 235. To start out with, we still couldn't get, neither of us could really get the shared project on GitHub to work on both of our machines, and this run we couldn't get it to work on either of our machines. So I ended up copying and pasting a lot of files into a test, really, and I'm just going to show this at the beginning. So if I open WebXML, I don't have the securities right here yet because we couldn't get that to work on separate machines either, but I can come down here and copy paste all this into there and it'll be set back up again. But yeah, this is the demo of our project. So as I think that has been explained in my partner's video, we have our beans here, we have our business logic all right here, our interfaces, and then right here we have our controllers for the different web pages, and then this is our group for our databases. Down here we have our web content, a lot of general forms that we'll go through in this project, but essentially let's get started. So we start with home. We can run that on the server. And then this is the page for home, and one thing that we could improve on for this project is that we could add a lot of CSS, because this is just most of this is just basic black and white text, but it shows that everything works. So here we can either come to register, we can put in first name, David, month, email, address, phone, username, password. We can click register and it'll bring us to a list of all of our cars. And this is just obviously for testing, but if we go back to the home page, run as on the server. Now we can go to login, username, password, submit it. Well, that's not supposed to happen. We'll get back to that. I think, yeah, that's again with the security stuff that we didn't end up changing, but it all works. So we can go back to here, hit show all, shows all of the cars in stock. We can create a new car, let's go Ford, F1, or it'd be a 150, I guess, in general. 2004, color, red, miles, 1, new car. Register that vehicle, all the information's right here. We auto-generate an ID with the database, and to show you the database is working, we got it right here. So refresh it. So we got all our testing, we got our database, and then so we demonstrated that we can delete. That deletes it from there. We go back to our database, refresh it. It's gone. One bug that I have encountered while preparing for this video is editing. So this is all supposed to be filled with the information that was back here. So Ford F-150 red, all that stuff. But it doesn't, and if I go to edit it, we're just going to use numbers to make it quick. It doesn't edit it. Refresh, nothing. Check here. Refresh, it didn't edit it. But if I go to this assignment, right here, and I was obviously trying to figure out why this wouldn't work, and these are the two from different assignments. It's basically the exact same code. Have it all filled out right there. I've been looking at it for 2 hours and there's nothing wrong in the pathing either. It's all really the same. But just to show you that the code does work, we're just gonna, I tested on this earlier, so we can edit this. It's literally the same thing. So we go sure, submit. And this will bring us to the response page. We can go back here, refresh, and there it is right there. So I don't know what was wrong with it. It's all correct. Everything's typed correctly. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, and like I said, the security stuff right here, it's in. While this is in, so if I attempt to run this here, it'll bring me straight to the login page, and I'm going to need a login, but that was set up on her computer, and JIT doesn't want to transfer that stuff across platforms. I don't know we've had troubles, like for example, she couldn't access the database I created, and I can't access stuff that she created. So we ended up remaking a lot of this just so it'll all be on my system. But yeah, that's the product. Obviously, we can add CSS, a lot of visuals, but I think we showed that we understand the logic for the back end of the project, that we can create this, we can create many like this, and we can spend more time on how the website looks in the future. The project, the limitations for the project, I guess, would be our limitations on how much we know. But what we've learned in this class, we can actually do a lot with it. But yeah, that's our project demo. It was fun making it. And yeah, that's it.